Hello, church. So here's our devotional for Saturday, June 7th. We'll be coming into Pentecost Sunday on June 8th, as well as our graduate recognition and our end of year Sunday school picnic. So hope to see a bunch of you on Sunday. Today we come into Psalm 78. And Psalm 78 is actually long enough that I cannot tell you how many parts we're going to have to do it in. But we're going to get us started, and then we'll be back into it on Monday and following up on some stuff. First, New Revised Standard Version. We're introduced to the word maskil again, which we think is a musical setting for some of those. Psalm 78, a maskil of Asaph. Give ear, O my people, to my teaching. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings from of old, things that we have heard and known, that our ancestors have told us. We will not hide them from their children. We will tell them to the coming generation the glorious deeds of the Lord and his might, and the wonders that he has done. He established a decree in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our ancestors to teach to their children, that the next generation might know them, the children yet unborn, and rise up and tell them to their children, so that they should set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments, and that they should not be like their ancestors, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation whose heart was not steadfast, whose spirit was not faithful to God. When we did Psalm 77, we talked about that turn in the psalm where the psalmist begins remembering the deeds and action of God in the past. There's feels to me like some continuity going from this psalm into Psalm 78. I'll also share with you that wise saying of those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. And this is part of the hope of Psalm 78, that we might actually learn. A little bit from me from Mays, which he entitles That the Next Generation Might Know. Psalm 78 is the voice of a teacher. It is largely composed of narrative, a telling of the story of the Lord's way with Israel. In this respect, it is similar to Psalms 105, 106, and 136. Because of this common dominant feature, this group of Psalms is often classified as historical Psalms. The so-called historical Psalms all recite a version of the foundational narrative of Israel found in Genesis to Samuel, from Abraham to David. Though the Psalms seem based on the narrative as it is recorded in these books, each version is selective and distinctive in the way it tells the story. The different versions illustrate the creative ingenuity employed in shaping the material of Israel's tradition about its past. The distinctiveness of each emerges from the purpose of its recital. Each recital is composed to elicit a lesson from the tradition. These psalms are instructional in the broadest sense of that term. The styles of presentation vary from Torah, and that is scripture, to hymn and prayer, but of the congregation in whose midst they were performed. But their central purpose is to inform, correct, and nurture the faith of the congregation in whose midst they were performed. Obviously, calling them historical psalms can be misleading. Their composers did not practice or present history, in quotes, in the sense that the term has for modern historians. These psalms are concerned with the past and its bearing on present and future. The past is the past remembered, not researched. It is a past of traditions about events with a very prominent confessional dimension. Events experienced and reported as interaction of Israel's God with Israel's will and way. For these psalmists, God's way and will are essential elements of reality. Any account of past experience that excluded God as a principal participant would have been reductionist and meaningless. Now, a little Eugene Peterson from the Message. Psalm 78, an Asaph psalm. Listen, dear friends, to God's truth. Bend your ears to what I tell you. I'm chewing on the morsel of a proverb. I'll let you in on the sweet old truths, stories we have heard from our fathers, counsel we learned at our mother's knee. We're not keeping this to ourselves, we're passing it along to the next generation. God's fame and fortune, the marvelous things he has done. He planted a witness in Jacob, set his word firmly in Israel, then commanded our parents to teach it to their children so the next generation would know and all the generations to come. Know the truth and tell the story so their children can trust in God, never forget the works of God, but keep his commands to the letter. Heaven forbid they should be like their parents, bullheaded and bad, a fickle and faithless bunch who never stayed true to God. Unrelated note to that stuff, but in an intriguing part, a lot of you are aware that I've been doing some translations using OpenAI of the Corpus Schwenkfeldiorum, which is the collected writings of Caspar Schwenkfeld von Ossig, as well as a few other people whose works he held in respect. One of the neat things about moving to a modern vernacular or modern translation is the need to try to shorten sentences because we have, and you even see it in the NRSV, where we have a whole lot of semicolons and these really extensive things, and really trying to be direct as we go through. And I do appreciate Eugene Peterson's directness as he approaches the Psalms. All righty, well, we will be back with you on Monday as we continue in Psalm 78. If anyone wants to make a guess how many weeks it's going to take to make it through this psalm, that is very welcome to have. And we'll see you on Monday. Take care. God's blessings. Bye-bye.